there was another monster called politics. These are a group of Kenyans, individuals, who come together to think on how are we going to take this country forward. Then I wanted to find what are they doing in these political parties. I remember walking into one of the parties that I could identify myself with, that was United Republican Party at that time. Then there was no youth league. And when I read through the manifesto of the party at that time, there was a provision for the youth league. I didn't go to the street. I didn't start abusing the party. I tried with my wisdom on how am I going to collaborate with the leadership and also constitute form the youth league. Then we formed the youth league. We went through an election, and then I vied for the president, and I was the president for the the youth congress of the party. Then there was this merger that came in of the 12 parties. We came also as the youth leaders, and then we were negotiating our way in for the new party, that's the Jubilee Party. And also I managed to be the chairman for the Jubilee Party. And when it came to last year, 2017, when the president and the party was looking who can identify with the young people to go and represent the youth in parliament, and that is when they elected me. The nomination is not free. The party sits down, and this is different because the president has to give you a vote. So when they elected me to go and represent the young people, now I am here in parliament, and I'm here also with the same quest. I need to find answers for you. As I represent you, as I represent youth in this country, I have learned a lot. Things even maybe some of you don't know. For example, you sit here because you're seeking the truth. But the moment I give you an answer, or the moment we give you answers, we will divide. We will be divided. You will be divided by my answers. That is why you asked about the president. When the president gave us an answer about, I don't trust young people, we were divided. But let me tell you, sometimes elders sit there. When you look at them, you think they landed to be an elder. But they have traveled a journey through time and energy. 35 years ago, our president vied for Member of Parliament in Gatundu. He was seeking the votes of the Gatundu constituents to trust him in the leadership. He was a young man, and today he's the president. Meaning, young people can be trusted. The only difference is when the public fail to understand that you can never get an answer from a politician. Do you know why? Because everyone is coming up with evidence. And this evidence needs to be looked at and judged by the citizens. So in the process, if you don't have the wisdom, the intellect, and the problem with our education is it teaches us to understand the phenomena around. That's why you have a PhD in something, different careers. But it doesn't help us. Our education system doesn't help us to understand ourselves, what is going on inside. So for you who is here, you come in to seek the truth. You see those spaces? There are 5 categories of youth in Kenya. There are those who are inside, like the Yali community. The Yali. You're the insiders. You know what is happening. You have the privilege. And then there are those professionals who just want to come around Yali and find out, what do you learn? Why is, like me, when I come to Yali, I really want to know, how did you get to Yali? I applied and I failed. So I want to get close to Marion and Philbert to find out what is different with you and me that you managed to get to Yali. Those are the kind of questions that I always ask myself. Then these spaces could have been filled by many young people. If I go outside there, na niseme kitu moja, niseme hii serikali imewacha vijana, you will find a crowd following me, they are shouting haki yetu. You will not say haki yetu, you will not even go and pick it, because you're different from them. And then there's another category of youth in this country who doesn't care about what's happening. If you ask them, Manchester iko namba ngapi wa EPL table, they will tell you, including even the goal difference. If you tell them which program is going to air tonight, they will give you a plan. They will even tell you, Real Housewife of Kawangware, why was it stopped? And who do we miss? Those are the citizens that we struggle with the ministry, with the government, trying to get policies for them. Then there is another category that if you ask them, who's your MCA? Even if I picked right now and ask you, who's your MCA? You'll find someone else telling you, I have no idea there is something called an MCA. I asked another lady, which country do you come from? He told me I come from Kiserian County. You get it? I come from this. So that is the complexity within ourselves. And that is why, as a country, as youth, we have a lot of social contradiction because of all this.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. So I didn't time you, but I want to give the next panelists strict timeline. Please take at least 2 minutes, at most 2 minutes, to respond within the shortest time possible, so that we get to wrap up. Caroline, you were an aspirant at some point for a parliamentary seat. That was Senate, actually. Please tell us something about that and some of the challenges that you may have encountered. There's some ladies here who may also want to go into elective politics. What would you want to share with them in 2 minutes, very brief?
Good morning or good afternoon? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caroline Chege from Kajiado County. I was in Yali when Obama was in Kenya, so Yali cohort 2, so I'm very grateful to Yali for organizing all this. What I'd like to share to the people who are sat in this room is, number one, what do you stand for? How convicted are you in what you believe in? When you are opposed, do you stand, doubt, give up, give in, or disappear? Like, what do you truly believe in? Do you stand for your purpose? Are you willing to pay the price for it? I vied for MCA in 2012. I come from a very patriarchal community that is Kajiado County. Women are not often on the ballot box or even elected. We have 25 wards, and to date, there is no single one woman that has been elected. And when I decided to vie, it is so important for young people to understand that nothing comes easy. Sorry, let me go back to a question that he asked when Uhuru said that young people cannot be trusted. Can I ask you something, young people? Anglo Leasing, who was under 35? The Dam Project, who was under 35? The maize scandal, who was under 35? The fake billions that have been created, the owners, who is under 35? So as young people, if you don't stand for anything, you fall. If we are not united in understanding our power, look at us when he asked us, we were all quiet because we didn't know. That is something that we've been fed and we have believed because we don't know what we truly stand for. Let me tell you, young people, we are so good in collectively fighting against something, but we don't know how to stand for something. You know what we mean? As he said, haki yetu, we are refusing something, but what is the one thing as young people that we can say we stand for? I remember in 2010, sitting at the Bomas of Kenya, when I decided that I'll vie for MCA, I listened to Phoebe, a CEO, and all these women say what they went through. They went through hell, you know, your house being burnt, going through rape, all sorts of human violation against these women who decided to vie. So I decided if these women have gone against it and they are still alive, I can also do it. So I vied in 2012 for the MCA, and truth to it, my life was on threat. But I always say that if you want to kill me, you'll not talk about it, you'll do it. So I vied, and you know what? The books tell you that who wins the most votes is declared the winner, right? No. Whoever who protects their votes after winning the most votes is declared the winner. That is the truth that is not found in the books. So I got the most votes and I was declared number 2 because I didn't know how to protect my votes. You know, you can laugh about it, but are you willing to pay the price I paid? I didn't have young people behind me supporting. I had very few young people. All young people wanted was money. What is it that is in them? They didn't understand that the price you have to pay for a conviction. So fast forward. What happened was I continued serving my community, and in 2017, I decided to vie for senator. By the way, when I vied for MCA, I was the only female on the ballot box. And we were 11 of us, and I was number 2. 2017, I decided to vie for senator. Now this is a different mind game. The women in my community would sit me down and ask me, unafikiria wewe ni nani kushindana na mafia? I mean, you know, I was raised in a place called Kibiko, Kajiado West from childhood. So Mas Highland is the only land I know, despite being Caroline Wambui Chege. So at the end of the day, that is the only place I know. I don't know Central Kenya. Yes, I'm a Kenyan, but Kajiado is home. So that is why I decided to vie. And I come from a community, it's very patriarchal. When a community meeting is called and 10 women show up, the first man who shows up will say, watu wako wapi? Clearly the women who have showed up are not watu. So these are the kind of oppositions and barriers that I'm trying to let you know that I faced. So when young people approach their leaders and you ask for something and there is a closed door and a barrier, and then you go up and you give up so quickly. Why do you give up? When I was vying for senator, I would fight to get a microphone. You know, I mean, you know, the men are asking for their votes, but for me, I have to fight to even get an opportunity to speak to people. It was a different mind game. It was a game of resilience, persistence. I had such a strong conviction. I did not need one person to tell me, Caroline, you can do it. I believed in myself, despite what anybody said. And true to it, I won several men. In my constituency, I got the most votes. Yes, I became number 3, but I was the only woman in the ballot box, and I got the most votes in my constituency. So when the people like His Excellency, who I greatly respect, say that there are no youth to be trusted, that is an insult to some of us. So, you know, some of us have given our blood, sweat, and tears to be here. Shortly after I was declared number 3, I was gazetted on the national papers as a county minister. CEC, Public Service, Citizen Participation and Administration. Severally, I was gazetted every week. Congratulations came from all quarters. Per day, I'd get 100 phone calls. You know, when you're in power, everybody wants to be next to you, even if they didn't help you pay the price to get where I got. I walked this journey alone. So what happened, to cut a long story short, shortly after, despite being shown my office and everything, my appointment was withdrawn. So, I am Wambui Chege, right? I don't have a clan. Where I come from, the culture is this: if something is done against you, you bring the entourage of your clan to fight for you, right? I don't have a clan to fight for me. I mean, all the youth want from me is money. I come from a county that is so big. Just look at Magadi, Kitengela, Amboseli, Savo, Ngong. Are you seeing if we are the same size as Rwanda?
Less than a minute.
Sorry, you completely spoiled my whole trail of thought.
Sorry.
Where was I?
The clan fighting for you.
So, I am really trying to make, so I'm just trying to let you know, for me to transverse my county is till the border of Namanga. To transverse my county, per day I drive 300 kilometers. And if you get a young person to drive with you from Ngong to Oloitoktok, they'll tell me, unanilipa pesa ngapi? You know, they're not understanding that, hey, this is the price you pay. Because I have invested in my county, I've invested in my people. Remember, I did not get MCA, right? I did not get senator, and now Waziri has been taken away from me. You know what I decided? I decided what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I decided to grow from the process, because my conviction in leadership is not belittled to a title, and I let it go. I did not even call the governor once to ask him why he did not give me the position. Last year, I was in a program in Germany where I was meeting the government of Germany, the the Chancellor of Germany. She's called Angela Merkel, the most powerful woman in the whole world, to be honest, the most powerful woman. Germany is the 4th greatest economy in the world. They run the European Union. I was learning how they do government there with her ministers, and I was sat in her boardroom and on her chair. And I was thinking, even my president has not been to the chancellery and had this opportunity. So as young people, I want to tell you to be persistent. Just give me 1 minute, the last one. So when I was there, my county government decided to call me and ask me, bado unataka kazi? I'm like, kazi gani? So to cut a long story short, I'm currently the board director of Kajiado Municipality. And it is a program where citizens drive the agenda of change, bringing order into the county, order into the municipality. So as young people, be persistent, be resilient, and don't wait for anyone to open doors for you. Open your own doors.
Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Please just introduce the organization and what the organization does, and maybe your take on what the journey of youth leadership has been. And then Roy, you will finish for us. This is not prophetic 1 minute, literal 1 minute, okay? Thank you so much. Yes.
We shall not be harassed. Comrades, we shall not be harassed. Anyway, it touches me to listen to the two of you speak. I don't know whether, Gideon, you remember me, but I was in your youth senate when I was in first year. Yeah, he's a great mentor, so I really appreciate what you said. And also because the history of student leadership, and particularly the University of Nairobi, has been instrumental to the topic that is for this particular panel: democracy, rule of law, law and policy formulation. Every major milestone in the history of Kenya's development, there have been students at the center of it. Now the question has been what those students have been doing, whether you have been bought, to support a particular side, or whether it's the good old days of the Moi regime, where students would actually come and stand up for what is right, and that would actually make a difference in the country. Now, we are glad to have produced the very first female chairperson of the University of Nairobi.
Yeah.
She's my friend and mentee, and we've worked very closely together. I now serve in her secretariat as the head of secretariat. And we can talk about that later. But it's a milestone, it's a huge thing, and we, of course, defend the sanctity of student leadership and what that means for this country. Now, I wanted to talk about two things. One is the Kenyan dream, what we define as the Kenyan dream, and this is particularly addressed to Lydia, and two is about public participation. Now, young people are disjointed, as you're saying. We have different agendas, we work differently, etc., because our leadership has failed us in defining what the Kenyan dream is, that which we can tap into. Now, from even a legal perspective, if we look at, I'm a law student, if you look at major democracies in the world, the US, very big examples that we can draw from, they've had that which their citizens can tap into and say, this is what I'm working for, this is what I believe in. Come down here to Kenya, we don't have that one thing that defines us and says, the Kenyan young people can say, this is what I'm working towards, this is what I want to leave my children, the kind of country that I want to leave for my children. We don't have that. And after agonizing over the fact that we do not have a Kenyan dream, we sat down and we were thinking, we cannot wait for the political elite to design that for us, because they are leaving the present and the future. The guys who are over 40, they are currently living